what does it take to wake the gifts of a Greenseer, and why are there so few original structures at Winterfell? Hi, I'm Eldrick Stoneskin, and if you enjoy theories and analysis of A Song of Ice and Fire, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. The blood of House Stark is one that we know contains the genetic potential to become a Greenseer, with Bloodraven telling Bran that it's his blood that gives him this magical gift. And it seems this green-seeing blood might have been present in House Stark since its founding member, Bran the Builder, who, as we hear in tales, sought out the children of the forest for their aid, possibly suggesting the waking of his green-seeing gift, just as we see with the current Bran Stark, while also being remembered as having lived an extended life, just as Greenseers are able to do, all while choosing to build his ancestral seat around an existing weirwood, the very trees integral to the power of Greenseers. But for some reason, when it came to the construction of Winterfell, Bran the Builder, who is known for his advanced and megalithic structures, didn't build an enormous castle for his house as he was known to do. In fact, if we look to the earliest constructions that occurred around the site that would become Winterfell, it seems all Bran the Builder might have built is the first keep, which is noted as being the oldest part of the castle, and the crypts of Winterfell beneath the earth. But why would this famous builder, who built the largest structures in Westeros, only raise a squat round tower and a crypt around an existing weirwood as his ancestral seat? Well, knowing that the Starks are Greenseers, when we look to what it takes to wake and develop the gift of greenseeing, a few things start to make sense about the ancestral seat of these Greenseer kings. You see, to wake the greenseeing gift, it appears there are 3 steps, with the first step of this process being to somehow come close to death, with this near-death experience seemingly being the catalyst for the three-eyed crow to first visit and communicate with someone through their dreams. With Jojen being visited by the three-eyed crow after having contracted the potentially fatal greywater fever, and Bran being visited by the three-eyed crow while being very close to death in his coma at the start of a Game of Thrones. And the reason Bran was close to death and can therefore begin his training as a Greenseer is because he fell from the window of the first keep, one of the original structures of Winterfell, with Bran then entering a coma in which he dreams that he is falling, with the three-eyed crow appearing to see if he can fly before he reaches the ground and dies. And after passing this first test and flying, the three-eyed crow then pecks through Bran's forehead, giving him his third eye to awaken his gift and complete the first step to becoming a Greenseer. And so after coming close to death to receive his new third eye, the second step towards becoming a Greenseer is learning how to use it, something which seems to be taught by having the gift of sight removed, with Bran first learning the art of consciously skin-changing summer after the removal of his sight while living in complete darkness as he hides in the crypts, which happens to be one of the other original structures of Winterfell. In fact, this is something we also see occur with his sister Arya Stark, who learns to skin change a stray cat after she has her sight removed by the kindly man, leaving her to live in a darkness in which she learns the ability to consciously skin change as well, just as we've seen with her brother Bran Stark in the darkness of the crypts. In fact, this concept is something we also see suggested through the worship of Boash the blind god, with the followers of Boash blinding themselves with hoods because only in darkness they believed with their third eye open. And it seems Bloodraven is even aware of this technique of opening the third eye in complete darkness too, as we find him instructing the children of the forest to extinguish all the torches in the cave after Bran eats his weirwood paste and the third step of his training can begin. And so after coming close to death and receiving your third eye, and then removing the sense of sight to learn how to consciously slip your skin, it's time to learn to slip into the roots of the weirwood and allow you to see through the eyes of the tree and through time itself in the third step of this process. Something Bran accomplishes by sitting beneath a weirwood in a throne of weirwood roots, with Bloodraven telling him that he needs to slip his spirit into the roots of the tree just as he would with summer, allowing him to see through the eyes of the weirwoods and become a Greenseer. And so knowing that Greenseers learn to use their powers by coming close to death just as Bran did by falling from the first keep, and then having the gift of sight removed to learn to use their new third eye just as Bran did in the darkness of the crypts of Winterfell, while also requiring a weirwood above so a Greenseer can slip into the roots of the tree, the construction of Winterfell starts to make a lot more sense. Perhaps Bran the Builder constructed the first keep so his Stark descendants could have a tower to leap from, built at the exact height required to survive, yet come close enough to death so they could begin the process of becoming a Greenseer and receive their fly or die dream after this leap of faith. While also having built a crypt beneath the earth, with the entrance built just at the foot of the first keep, so his green-seeing descendants could be taken into the crypts after their fall, so they could have the dark conditions necessary to open their third eye for the second step of the process. A crypt which also happens to be constructed beneath an existing weirwood, allowing Bran the Builder's green-seeing descendants to sit in the darkness of the crypts while having access to the roots of the weirwood above, so they could become green-seeing kings, all from the comforts of home. Something supported by the fact that Bran was standing on the windowsill when Jaime pushed him from the first keep, making the distance of his fall the same height as someone jumping voluntarily out of the window, a fall which if any further would have killed him, and if any shorter may have only injured him, possibly suggesting the first keep as having been purpose-built by Bran the Builder at this exact height, to provide a way to begin the process of becoming a Greenseer for his descendants. And it just might be that Bran the Builder also took this voluntary leap of faith from the first keep to wake his green-seeing powers after having it built as well, as we find him depicted in HBO's History and Lore series as being carried around on a platform, possibly suggesting this ancient Bran Stark as having lost the use of his legs after a fall, just as our current Bran Stark did after his fall from the first keep. And it seems this idea of taking a voluntary leap from a tower is specifically linked to becoming a Greenseer in a story we hear from Euron Crowseye, who suggests that when he was younger, he was visited by the three-eyed crow, potentially having undergone a fly or die dream similar to Bran Stark's, with Euron then suggesting that leaping from some tall tower would be a way to see if you could fly or die, something that the three-eyed crow might have suggested to him in this dream, sounding remarkably similar to Bran's fall from the first keep, suggesting a voluntary leap from a tower as a way of becoming a Greenseer, just as I'm suggesting was happening at the original structures of Winterfell. And when we look to the original features of Winterfell, that being the weirwood, the first keep, and the crypts, something else starts to become clearer, as there seems to be a very as above, so below aspect to the structures that Bran the Builder constructed as his ancestral seat, with this leap of faith from the first keep allowing the Greenseer to access the realm of death that exists within the weirwoods, as if the Greenseer fell right through the earth to the other side, both symbolically and literally entering a realm of death or dream below the current plane of existence, falling from above to then end up below, seated in the crypts, which also resembles a reverse tower beneath the earth, creating a Greenseer king who can enter the realm of the dead and the realm of the living, someone that can go above or below as they choose. But what do you think? Could Bran the Builder have built the first keep at the exact height for his Greenseer descendants to jump from to open their third eye, to then be brought into the crypts and sat beneath the earth in darkness with a weirwood above so they could train to become the next Stark Greenseer just as Bran Stark has? If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like and leave a comment with your thoughts below. And if you'd like to hear the parallels between A Song of Ice and Fire and George's other work on Elden Ring, make sure to click the link on your screen now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.